Hello once again, everybody. Welcome to SFF180. Thomas here. As always, it is Monday, November 24th, and you know what that means. Time again for another mailbag. I hope you guys have had a really good week. It has been a bit of a crazy week down here in Austin, at least weather-wise. It's like at the beginning of the week, it got super cold, at least for us. I mean, it got down to slightly below freezing, and then it got warm again. And then on like Friday and Saturday, it rained at an apocalyptic level of rain. Like, you know, I expected to see arcs floating by my street. And then it quit raining and it was beautiful and warm again. And this is all within a space of days. So, yeah. So that's kind of how things have been down here. It's a little bit weird. This evening has been pleasant and cool. And as you see, we are back to kind of a normal looking week for the mailbag. I think there are about 8 packages here, so we're going to dig through them and see what they are. One quick announcement before I get into the books. As most of you know, Thanksgiving week is coming up this week. This is kind of a uniquely American holiday for us here. It's mainly an excuse to get together with your family and eat a whole lot of unhealthy, fattening food. It's sort of a celebration of a kind of fantasy vision of American history that never really happened. But mainly, it's family time and fun time. And what I did last year, and what I was hoping to do this year, but I am not going to be able to find the time, was I did my Turkey Day special video last year's Thanksgiving, where I find a particularly bad book and skewer it for you. Sadly, I didn't really have time to do one of those this year. I had a book picked out that I thought would be a very good candidate, but various things conflicted with that, so I'll just put the link here to last year's Turkey Day special, and hope you get a good laugh out of that, all right? So, anyway, on to the books, shall we? Okay, this first one, I can't tell who this is from. Oh well. This is On Her Majesty's Behalf. The author is Joseph Nassis, and it appears to be the second volume in a zombie series. Don't really review much zombie fiction, but I'll go ahead and give you the write-up on this one anyway, because, you know, a lot of people, I'm sure, have a great deal of fun reading this. Okay, so the series is the Great Undead War, and it's World War I setting. The author is Joseph Nassis, and it says that the linchpin of Nassis's alternate history is T-Lech, also known as corpse gas. It's a deadly airborne weapon developed by the Germans in 1917, which can reanimate the dead, well, I kind of like that idea, thus giving them an endless supply of horrifying soldiers known as shamblers. In Book 2 of the Great Undead War saga, we pick up with our heroes once again. Madman Burke and his company of soldiers, not unlike the Howling Commandos of Captain America fame, have survived the brutal killing fields of France, but time waits for no man, and they've got another mission. In classic SFF fashion, their new mission is to rescue a princess? Really? Come on. But except instead of getting her out of a medieval castle, Burke and his unlikely crew of heroes must foray into London, a city completely overrun by the undead. Well, okay, you know, if you like zombies and war and stuff like that, Joseph Nassis is the author of this On Her Majesty's Behalf, second volume of the Great Undead War, and it comes out December 2nd. Okay, when I get a nice stiff white envelope like this, it usually means it's a Tor book. It is a Tor book, and this is one that I have been kind of looking forward to. It is a hard SF anthology. The editors are Ben Bova and Eric Choi. It's called Carbon-Tipped Pens, and it comes out, let me see, what's the release date on this? It's got to say, oh, December 2nd, again. Anyway, hard science fiction is the literature of change, rigorously examining the impact, both beneficial and dangerous, of science and technology on humanity, the future, and the cosmos. As science advances, expanding our knowledge of the universe, astounding new frontiers in storytelling open up as well. So, as you see, hard SF themed anthology. Hard SF has not really been much in evidence these days lately with, you know, dystopias and grimdark fantasies and all that kind of stuff. So let's see, from tattoos that treat allergies to hazardous missions to Mars and beyond, from the end of the world to the farthest limits of human invention, Carbon-Tipped Pens turn startling new ideas into state-of-the-art science fiction. This is a must-read for any fan of science fiction, and it includes stories. So I'm just going to look at the... Okay, Daniel H. Wilson, Aliette de Bedard, Doug Beeson, Cixin Liu, a very popular Chinese author, Ben Bova, Jean-Louis Trudel, Leah Peterson and Gabrielle Harboe, Gregory Benford, Howard Hendricks, Jack McDevitt, Robert Reed, Eric Choi, David DeGraff, Kate Story, Carl Frederick, Dirk Strasser, and Nancy Fulda. A lot of unfamiliar names to me in this anthology, and that's usually a good sign. We're going to be encouraging some new talent, looks like, with this one. So Carbide, excuse me. Have I been saying carbon throughout this entire review? Carbide tipped pens. Ben Bova edited Hard SF anthology, out December 2nd from Tor. From the Penguin Group. Okay, everyone. William C. Dietz, as some of you know, is a pretty popular military SF author. And for the longest time, this series of his, Legion of the Damned, has been running. And this now purports to be the final volume in that lengthy series. Comes out again, another December 2nd release, Andromeda's War. And it says, now a platoon leader, Legionnaire Andromeda McKee seems to have successfully left behind her true identity. At failing at her one shot of vengeance, Andromeda had been questioning her own resolve. But now she is going to, I guess, meet her ultimate destiny. So, if you are a fan of the Legion of the Damned series, and I do have quite a few of these, including some of these most recent volumes in these attractive hardcovers, well, this is coming out. I would very much like to kind of read these from the start. Military SF is not usually my thing, but I have read quite a few examples of it that ended up being a whole lot more intellectually engaging than I was expecting. So here we go. Coming out from Ace, December 2nd, Andromeda's War by William Dietz. And this is going to be a Pyre book. Okay, the author here is James Enga. The book is The Wide World's End. It's the third volume in a series called A Tournament of Shadows. And James Enga was a particular favorite of the former publisher of Pyre Books, Lou Anders, who has since gone on to pursue his own writing career. And so, yeah, let's see. From beyond the northern edge of the world, the Sun Killers, undying enemies of everything that lives and breathes and is an individual. Oh, gotcha. Okay. They're reaching into the sky of Lent to drain out its length and warmth. Their hope is to scrape sky, land, and sea clean of mortal life and return to where they once dwelled before the first rising of the sun. So as you see, epic fantasy dealing with battle against ultimate evil, etc., etc., etc. This is, I think, the second series by Enga that Pyre has released. And if you would like to see me review, if you're curious about this guy and you'd like to see me review some of his work, please let me know, as usual, in the comments. But The Wide World's End comes out February 17th from Pyre. Okay, something else from Pyre. And this is the finished copy of a book that I have, of course, already gotten in ARC form. Pyre, I think, is one of the only, probably the only publisher I hear from who always sends the ARC first and then the finished copy. With some publishers like Tor or Penguin, you know, sometimes they'll send me the ARC, sometimes they'll send me the finished copy, sometimes I'll get both. Sometimes I won't get either, and I have to, like, bug them in email. But anyway, The Lady is the second volume in a series called Marikand. The first volume is called The Leopard, and anyway, it says, possessed by a ghost who feeds on death, the undying assassin Ajvar the Leopard has, well, I guess I don't want to read some of this because it's going to be probably a bit spoilery for the first book. But this, I don't really know if you would call this grimdark or anything, but it does appear to be, you know, good, solidly world-built epic fantasy. I imagine for fans of people like Erickson and Abercrombie and that sort of thing. K.V. Johansson, I'd very much like to read these. You know, I do get in the mood for this kind of thing every now and again. And so, yes, if you'd like me to undertake The Leopard as well as The Lady, please let me know in the comments. But the finished copy is now available. No, it's not. It's not. It's available December 9th from Pyre. And again from Pyre. So again, you have probably seen me talk about the arc of this one. A new novel by Mike Resnick starting a new series called Dead Enders. It looks like a space opera. Looks also kind of young adult. If anything, the cover art here looks very video gamey. But the Fortress in Orion, the democracy is at war with the alien Transke Coalition. War hero Colonel Nathan Pretorius has a record of success on dangerous behind enemy missions that usually leave him in the hospital. Now he's recruited for a near-impossible assignment that may well leave him dead. At the cost of many lives, the democracy has managed to clone and train General Mishkag, one of the Transke's master strategists. Colonel Pretorius and a handpicked team must kidnap the real Mishkag if they can, assassinate him if they can't, but no matter which, put the clone in his place where he will misdirect the enemy's forces and funnel vital information to the democracy. Against the odds, Pretorius, along with cyborg Felix Ortega, computer expert Tony Levy, convict and contortionist Sally Snake Kowalski, the near-human empath Marlowe, the alien, blah 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 blah. All these people, they must infiltrate the fortress in Orion, accomplish their mission, and escape with their lives. Okay, sounds like a pretty busy plot for quite a slight book. But in any event, if you like this sort of thing, The Fortress in Orion, new space opera from Mike Resnick, and it comes out from Pyre on the 2nd of December. And one more big white envelope means one more Tor book. Okay, and here's one that is out as of this week. The insanely prolific Ellie Modesitt Jr. is back with yet another new Recluse novel. This has been a long-running fantasy series, the Saga of Recluse, Heritage of Sayador. Again, it's now out from Tor in hardcover, and let's see, one of the longest-running series, scarcely a year after the events of Sayador's Heir. So anyway, this continues from previous volumes, meaning that I don't really want to give a synopsis of it, so as to avoid spoilers. If you're a fan of this series and you plan to read this book, but in any event, Heritage of Sayador. It came out on the 18th from Tor, so it is now available. For the record, I have read and reviewed like the first 2 volumes in the Recluse series. The Magic of Recluse. Thought the first one was okay. I didn't think much of the second one, Towers of the Sunset, so yeah, just take that as you will. Final package here. It's a big one from Hachette. Alrighty. Alright everyone, this is an arc for the first volume of a new series by Marcus Heitz, who's written the Dwarves series apparently, which came out from Orbit. Some of you may be familiar with those. This book comes out February 10th. It is called Righteous Fury. It's got an elf guy on the cover looking very righteously furious. And let's see, what do we have? Okay, comes a new series, The Legends of the Alfar. And there's an umlaut over the A, so you can tell exactly how metal it is. In Dzon Faimon, realm of the cruel and surpassingly beautiful artist warriors known as the Alfar, the military is planning a campaign against the enemies of the Empire. Cathalor and Synthoris are separately looking to enlist a powerful demon to strengthen their army, but the two Alfar have very different goals. While Cathalor is determined to defend the borders of the Empire, the ambitious Synthoris is intent on invasion. In order to expand the borders of Dzon Faimon, so many umlauts, he has set his sights on the kingdoms of dwarves, elves, and men. A decision that, should it come to pass, may have far-reaching consequences for him and for the Alfar. Well, there we go. And this, like I say, comes out February the 10th. Righteous Fury from Marcus Heitz. Epic fantasy action stuff. And that's it, everyone. That's the pre-Thanksgiving week mailbag. So I hope you enjoyed watching. As always, you know the drill. Fire up those comments if any of these books looked exciting or interesting to you. Anything you would like to see me add to the review queue, well then, by all means, let me know. Please leave a like if you enjoyed watching. Share this video far and wide with your SFF reading friends. And above all, please subscribe. That is what helps this channel to grow. Now, you can expect to see a couple of new review videos, I'd say by Monday, next Monday. But until I see all of you next time, thank you for watching and happy reading.